Georgia Virtue presents the Let Me Tell You Why You're Wrong podcast.
Thank you for downloading episode 299. This week we have diversity theft, another congressional exit, no white Christmas, they're coming to Atlanta, taxing the stupid tax, Seattle does not know biology, working people paying off millionaires, capitalism creates homeless, and a spending bonanza. I'm Dave Roberts. With me is my partner in this endeavor, the international traveler, live from, now I was about to say Madrid.
No, Barcelona now, yeah. Barcelona.
Live from Barcelona, Ken Poland.
Yeah, it's very nice over here. Mid-60s, weather's perfect, and yes, in the afternoon, so everything's good in Barcelona. Beautiful city.
And you're eating yourself stupid.
Oh my God, I've gained 10 pounds at least. I think people here eat 7 times a day, so you wake up and you have 2 breakfasts, 2 lunches, an early dinner, and then a late dinner, so you eat at least 6 times a day.
Yeah, but it's so the food's fantastic. I mean, I love Spain.
Yeah, it's been good. Good beer, good wine. It's a neat place. It really is.
Have you gotten a couple pitchers of sangria yet?
Yeah, sangria is really good.
Talk about bad for you. It's not the alcohol content that's bad for you. It probably has 4 cups of sugar in each pitcher of sangria.
Yeah, no doubt.
I've got a friend who's a Spaniard, and she made for our leadership class when I was in leadership with the Chamber of Commerce a big old thing of sangria, and I was going to bring some home to Connie because she loves sangria, but we drank all of it.
Yeah, Luke's a big church kid, so he loves seeing all the old Catholic churches over here. They are amazing what was built. It's amazing what they've just built 3, 4, 5, sometimes 1,500 years ago.
Well, that and the Moorish influence.
Yep.
Because you see a lot of mosque type churches where at one point they were mosques and they took the domes and stuck a cross on top of them.
Yep.
Yeah, it is eye opening, and people who don't leave this continent really
or the state.
Yeah, or the state really miss out on cultural experiences, and you have to go in with an open mind. We joke about eating, but that's part of the culture. That's part of absorbing culture.
Yeah.
Is sitting in a bar, having a beer and having tapas, and just listening to the stories and watching the locals and how they interact with each other and joke with each other. It really does. It humanizes everybody because there's a common thread there, because you get the same thing if you walk into I don't know, I'm going to date myself, a Bennigan's. but it's the same thing. People are the same the world over with humor and food and ribbing each other and making fun of each other and guys are guys and just having a good time.
I think some of that's a big town too. You don't want to spend time in your apartment. You want to get out and meet your friends and hang out at the bars versus, how we are in Georgia. We've built 2,700 square foot homes, and there's just not that sense of getting out and hanging out with your friends like it is over here. It's just, it is a lot different.
Yeah, it's not quite. I try. I do. I will meet my friends for lunch or drinks after. Lo and I have got we'll set up every week or so and go and have a happy hour together and make fun of each other and bust each other's balls and all that stuff. That's just People, if they were to listen to our conversations, would think we hate each other.
I was going to say, before we forgot it, I know that I saw on Facebook last week that Joseph Gullett and his wife adopted a little boy last week. So congrats to the Gullets on doing that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, he's had him for a little while, but yeah,
that's
the
awesome.
kid is super cute.
Yep.
and Joseph's is going to be a great dad. Joseph's just is a politics aside, and I agree with Joseph's politics, but it had nothing to do with his politics. Joseph's a good man, and he and Jennifer are just super good people, and they're going to be great parents for this kid.
No, I was very happy for them.
And there's a backstory behind this kid that I'm not going to share, but he came from a pretty bad place, and now he's got two parents that adore him and will do anything for him, and I couldn't be happier for him.
Yep.
And it also makes Joseph into, not that he wasn't before, but makes him into a huge advocate for streamlining the process to adopt kids.
No, I know.
And he's in the position to make that happen. And that is awesome that we have a lawmaker here in Georgia who has gone through the process and knows how laborious it is. Yeah, and can see places where it can be streamlined.
Yep, that is good.
And that's amazing. And I'm very proud to have him as my rep. I mean, he's a really good dude. I don't know how much longer he's gonna stay up there, because as his boy gets older, it's gonna take more and more time, and I think that 3 months away is gonna wear on him, because he really loves being a family man.
Yeah, that's a lot more than 3 months too. So there's always events to go to and
special session
stuff. Yeah, there's just always stuff you feel like you need to go to. So it will be interesting to see. He's bumping up against
party meetings and
he's
all that stuff. Yeah,
he's going to be up there 8 years and after his next term. So a lot of reps retire after that 8-year period just because of insurance, they get the retirement stuff. Retirement insurance. Yep. But
so, getting into the show, we have DEI strikes again. A former Facebook global diversity strategist stole more than $4 million from Meta, the social media giant, to fund a lavish lifestyle, quote unquote,
in California and Georgia. Yeah, I don't know if you know. I mean, I'm sure you know this, Dave, but all these companies over the last 3 or 4 years have started hiring these global diversity strategy people. And what their job is to go out and make sure that anything they do, they're looking at it through the lens of diversity. And I'm sure that's what this lady did. Her name was, I'm trying to find it, Furlough Smiles. But that's what her job was at Facebook. Just look through everything through this global, DE&I lens.
Even her name means smile later.
Yeah, I know. Barbara Furlough Smiles. Yeah, but she did. I mean, she was splitting it up between California and Georgia. She's pled guilty to wire fraud after stealing more than $4 million in cash. She really had the scheme going, right? This was like fraudulent vendors, fictitious charges, cash kickbacks. She was doing it all, and this has been prosecuted out of Atlanta also.
DEI is a fraud anyway.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about it. Yep.
I mean, just hire the best person for the job.
Yeah, I was telling you before the show started, that's where I saw Vivek talked a lot about that in the town hall a couple of weeks ago with CNN, where he just said, we've got to get away from DEI and get back to meritocracy, where the best person on the lens of merit gets the position and not just people because they look a certain way or say they're a certain thing.
Well, that goes for admitting to college. That goes for employment. Look, I don't care if I hire somebody to install air conditioners. I don't care.
Yep.
If they're Hispanic, white, black, Asian. Well, most Asians are too smart to be installing air conditioners. Yeah, that's an assumption on race that
is.
most people don't mind.
No, but you're right. You want the best people. What Vivek argued, especially at the Ivy League schools, this is coming off the whole Ivy League thing that we talked about last week. He said, what the Ivy League schools have done from a diversity standpoint is actually made it less diverse. They've made it less inclusive because they've hired just one particular set of people that really shut down, what people thought across the board. So by trying to do this, you've actually done exactly the reverse.
Hell, Harvard gave what's her name a vote of confidence.
I know they did. Yeah.
I mean, and then she went out and lit a menorah as if that's going to make everything all right.
Oh yeah, that'll fix it all.
Yeah, it's, look! I like Jewish people too. What a T-Watt. She's an awful human being, and she was hired just because she hits the check marks. They've got her on plagiarism. She actually plagiarized another black female in her doctoral thesis.
Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
And that black female happens to be conservative.
Mm-hmm.
That she stole her stuff from, and Harvard's like, no, it's cool. It's cool. She's black. She wears glasses. She's good.
Yeah. But, this girl, hopefully, I mean, I would imagine this person's going to plead guilty. Whether or not they serve jail time or not, who knows? We just had somebody in my hometown get convicted of, or not get convicted, he pled out, but he got 20 years to serve 3 for stealing $40,000. This person stole $4 million. Now, not necessarily from individuals, stole it from the company, but we'll have to see if there's any really ramifications on this person of stealing $4 million. And do they just kind of plead out, or do they actually spend some time in jail?
Well, this is federal.
Yeah, I'll still be interested to see if they go after a DE&I person, or they just let her off with a slap on the wrist.
Well, they're going to get a conviction. The feds don't.
She's going to plead guilty on that, so I would think.
Yeah, the feds don't play around. They don't bring charges. This is not Jackie Johnson down in South Georgia.
Yeah, this is pretty easy.
When the feds bring charges, they expect either a plead or conviction. They don't play around.
Yep.
They're very, very. I've said it so many times on the show. They're very concerned with batting average.
Mm-hmm.
If you're an AUSA and you have people walk,
mm-hmm.
you're not an AUSA for very much longer.
Yep.
So we have your congressman, Drew Ferguson, is retiring.
Yeah, so my congressman announced last Thursday, that he was going to serve out the conclusion of the 118th congressional session here, but he would be leaving after that. So I think this will be 8 years for Drew in Congress. He actually lives in the same county I do now. He moved there from LaGrange a couple of years ago, but yeah, it's not often you get an announcement like this. Drew was previously deputy whip. I don't know if you remember, up under Kevin McCarthy, and it sounded like he lost that job when Mike Johnson became speaker. So I don't know if that drove part of him to, getting out of it, but it really sets up a wide open primary next year. So we'll have one of those primaries with probably 10 to 12 people in it in May with a runoff, and then after that. So it's going to be cool to see who jumps in this race for the 3rd District GOP chair or GOP seat.
Ken Poland for Congress.
No, I think Drew a couple of years ago when he actually got in, he beat Mike Crane. Mike used to be a state senator in Georgia, and he's actually the 3rd District GOP chairman now. I know Philip Singleton's interested in that job. Philip was a state representative down in the Noonan area who actually is chief of staff now for Rich McCormick in D.C. And I know State Senator Randy Robertson, I think, is interested. I'm being told that Randy is Drew's pick to succeed him, which, nobody likes the outgoing person to pick their replacement. But it sounds like Drew.
But that opens up a state Senate seat.
Yeah, that would open up a state Senate seat down in the
which may open up a House seat.
Yeah, I just really thought there would be more. I mean, Drew announced this. I got this information literally an hour after he announced. I started making some phone calls, so I think there'll be quite a few people that jump into this race and see how it shakes out. And it's going to be a quick race. What is it? End of December? It's literally a 5-month. 5-month campaign to middle of May.
Now, clarify the rules for me. If you're running for Congress and you happen to be in the state Senate, can you raise money for running for Congress while you're in the Senate, while you're in session?
Yes, you can. Yep, because
you can't raise money for us the seat you're in.
Yep, and you don't have to withdraw either. So let's say Randy Robertson, the state senator, wants to run for Congress. He's going to, I doubt if he would withdraw for an state senate. Now, he's not going to run for state senate again, but he would be able to raise money for his congressional race while serving in the state senate in the spring.
Yeah, well, you can't be on the ballot twice.
Right, exactly. So, it's but that's kind of unlike people running for president. We've got senators running for president that stay senators and don't lose their job when they get beat. But it's just different in this case.
Well, but they're not on the ballot twice. That's the thing about being a senator.
Yep.
Is you're in 6 years.
Yep.
If it happened to be at the end of your term and you wanted to run for president, you would have to pick which ballot to be on.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is look, I hadn't heard anybody yet. Not to say these guys don't have money that are in here yet, but there's always that one person that jumps in that's got, can totally self-fund a campaign. I don't think Mike Phillip or Randy can 100% self-fund the campaign. So I know there'll be one guy in the 3rd district, which if you look at the 3rd district, it goes all the way from Carrollton, all the way down to Columbus, and then all the way over to Griffin, Spalding County, down to Thomaston. So it is a huge area in the state of Georgia. I mean, it's
it's a huge geographic area, which is hugely difficult and expensive to run in.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same number of people as a smaller geographic district.
Yep.
But just time wise, think about all the Chamber of Commerce events you have to go through. You've got 5 counties.
Oh, I know
that you got to show up in 5 GOP meetings, county meetings you got to show up at. And just door knocking. Your ground game has got to be enormous.
Yep. And then I did leave out one person that I already announced. I'm sorry. It's Jim Bennett from up around the Carrollton area has already announced he was going to run against Drew Ferguson before Drew resigned. So I don't want to slight Jim in the least bit. So there was somebody already running against Drew.
That's going to be a $2 million seat.
Yeah, you would need to raise at least $1 million to get through the primary. As
just the geographic area,
high profile. You got to start advertising on TV. You got to start sending out mailers. Yeah, it's a big deal.
It's $2 million if it's a dime.
Yep.
Just because you've got to hire staffers, you got to hire staffers in multiple counties. You've got to have door knockers in multiple counties. It's not the number of people. It's how big of an area that you have to cover.
Yeah, it's a big area. Yep.
I mean, if you're in Atlanta and you have a door knocker, that person can knock on 100 doors in a day because they're, you're on 8th acre lots and you just
you're
walk
driving
next
all
door
over to 3rd district. Yep. No, that's the challenge. It's I think these campaigns are mostly done via TV and mailers and signs. I mean, it's going to be impossible to put together a group of door knockers to get out and see everybody.
Yeah. Well, Merry Christmas, Ken. Whoa, I didn't mean that for you. I meant that for people of color. So we have Electeds of Color holiday party. This is Michelle Wu, who is the I was about to say governor, mayor of Boston.
Yep.
She is the first female mayor of Boston, first female of color mayor of Boston, first Asian mayor of Boston. I so tired of saying
she's
first.
the first of everything. Yeah.
So she sent out invitations to the city council for this Christmas party and then rescinded it to all the white people.
And there were 7 of them that were white. Yeah, this is what I found so crazy about the story. She sent out these invitations to this Electeds of Color holiday party, and she was not apologizing because she was having a party. She's apologizing because she accidentally sent these invitations out to the 7 white people.
And the problem comes in, this is not going to be at her house. It's not going to be at a hotel.
All right.
This is going to be on city property.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, the DA.
How do you get away with this? I mean,
Well, the DA of Boston showed up.
Yes.
She's a black lady. How do, and it's such a tired argument. I know if you were to do this in reverse, if you had white elected people of Boston and had your own party, they'd be out with pitchforks.
I mean, it's the same
in fact,
thing
no
with
one
Harvard
would.
last week. I mean, yeah, it's the same thing. And I get tired of talking about this, but you know, the ladies, the college presidents last week would not condemn genocide of Jews, or the killing of Jews. But if you said that against any other group besides white people, they would be going crazy.
Wu's husband is a honky. Her husband's white.
So he didn't get. Did he get to the party?
I have no idea, but
hopefully he didn't get an invite.
And first of all, Asians are treated differently. For he's talking about college admissions, treated totally differently with Ivy League schools.
Yeah.
They're folded in with white folks because they think they have too many Asians going to Harvard and MIT and everywhere else.
Yep.
So they're treated completely differently. I don't understand. I don't understand that this idea that every person of color has the same experience. You don't.
I know.
Folks that are born in this country and come up black have a different experience from those who are Asian or those who are Latino and those who are white. Everybody has a different experience, and even within those groups, everybody has a different experience. You know, I have a different experience than a lot of people because I have two great parents who are been married for well over 50 years. That we're coming up on 60 now. And I had a 2-parent household. It's a totally different experience for people who have parents who were divorced or never got married.
Yep.
Even though our skin color is the same, I had a different experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally different experience.
And you know, and growing up in South Florida, I have a different experience for people who grew up in Appalachia. Even though if you dress us the same and put us next to each other, we look alike. We have totally different experiences. Imposing color is such an artificial construct because you know someone who grew up like the Huxtables is going to have a different experience from somebody who grew up in the hood. And just because you have the same skin color,
you're saying.
yeah, just because you have the same skin color doesn't mean you had the same experience.
Yep.
And it's a completely artificial construct that is honestly insulting to people to say, oh, just because you're black, you have the same experience as this person because he's black. No, you don't.
No.
You can't tell me that Michael Jordan's kids have the same experience as somebody who grew up in Techwood homes in the 80s. It's just you just don't.
No, I agree.
But for this, you can't say electeds of color. First of all, electeds is a stupid word. Elected officials of color would actually make sense. Electeds of color is stupid sounding.
It does.
It's by the way, Wu is a Harvard grad.
Shocking.
Yeah, I know. I go, whoa, really? Yeah. She's a Harvard grad, as I understand. But just the term is stupid.
I know it is.
The whole thing is stupid. She's stupid, and she didn't even apologize for the party. She apologized for the fact that we found out.
Yeah,
that's sort of like getting caught cheating on your wife and saying, "I'm sorry, you weren't supposed to know about that."
No, she just apologized because she sent the email to the white people. That's the only reason she apologized.
That's stupid. So Metro Atlanta is the best place to live.
Metro Atlanta City, Sandy Springs. I don't even know where Sandy Springs is. Is it just on the north side of town?
North, yeah. It's 285 area.
Yes, it was named the 18th best place to live in America, making it the only spot in a peach state to make the list. I'm surprised. I think there's a lot of towns in Georgia that beat out any town in that metro area. I mean, you've got some great towns around. Thomaston's a good town. LaGrange is turning into a great little town. I'm not sure I would go with Sandy Springs, but
yeah, if you have enough money, Sandy Springs, I guess, is all right because you know you're you're close to everything. You're very close to Buckhead, but you're far enough away not
You
to
are.
be in
Yeah,
Buckhead.
you're within an hour of everything in Sandy Springs, or probably 30 minutes.
First of all, if anybody has friends who are thinking of moving to the Metro Atlanta area, just tell them we're full.
I'm pretty sure these companies like Sandy Springs or these cities, this is really egregious, pay magazines like this to put them in the rankings. I would love to see how much Sandy Springs or the Chamber of Commerce paid this magazine.
Business Insider?
Yeah, Business Insider, put them in the list.
Sandy Springs used to be the place, American Pie was there. It's gone now, but that place was wild. I mean, I was there back in the 90s. That place was wild. I mean, they did something called what would you do for $100 or $1,000 or something like that. It was nuts. Used to have 2 or 3 strip clubs. Yeah, Sandy Springs has become a city, and they've run the strip clubs out. They've gotten rid of the bars that were, honestly, when I was in my early 20s, were fun.
Right.
And they've gentrified it.
Yep.
But the traffic is horrendous in Sandy Springs. I don't even know how anybody could go to Sandy Springs and say, this is where I want to live, if you're there between 7:30 in the morning and 10, or 3:30 in the afternoon till 7. I mean, it is gridlock. You can't move around. It's horrendous. I don't know. It's whatever. If I guess if you never have to leave your house, it's all right, I guess.
Yep.
So taxing lottery tickets.
So we're going to tax the biggest poor tax in Georgia. Is that what we're doing?
This is stupid.
It is.
The article is saying that Georgia will forgo almost $230 million in state revenue by not taxing lottery tickets.
Yeah,
nobody taxes lottery tickets.
Yeah, I don't think anybody does. They said it'd be $229 million fiscal year 2024 and up to $304 million in fiscal year 2020 or 2033. So this was a new release finding of an audit that was conducted in the wake of a Senate bill that was passed last year. So it sounds like what they're basically saying is we get about $300 million extra dollars a year if we put a 7-cent sales tax on lottery tickets that were bought.
No one's going to pay $1.07 for a scratch off.
No, that's the best thing about it. You can just throw down $1 and get a scratch off.
Well, Georgia actually for a while, I don't know if they still have it, had the change game. Mm-hmm. Like you could play with pocket change. So basically what it's saying is, oh, you're too broke to buy an entire lottery ticket?
Yep.
We'll take your change. You talk about a wealth transfer. This is taking money from poor people and giving it to upper middle class white kids to go to college.
And think how much, if we're foregoing $229 million in state revenues, how much are the actual revenues from the lottery? So, I mean, that's just 229 by 93, right? 0.93. You'll figure it out. I mean, it's a huge number. It's over probably $2 billion in lottery sales every year.
It's not a purchase. You don't leave with a product. You leave with a chance.
Yeah, a very slim chance.
It's a very, very slim chance. But look, I'm as guilty as everybody else. When the lottery hit a billion or whatever it was, yeah, my father, brother, and I each kicked in $100, and we
I try to buy
a
lottery ticket every once in a while. I buy it on the Georgia app now. I don't know if you've ever done that, Dave.
That's what we do. Is we send money over to my brother, and he uses the app to get it. But the whole thing is it's for us. It's just fun. We have the disposable income.
Yep.
It's just fun. For one night, you get to dream.
And I tried to buy a lottery ticket in Spain this week. Georgia has it blocked where you can't buy it if you're outside the state of Georgia, or if they can't determine your IP addresses inside the state.
Well, you could have your wife do it.
Yeah, I could. I'm probably going to keep her out of it, though.
Especially if you win.
Yes, exactly. Got to have some kind of separation here, right?
Don't say separation.
No, separation of finances. Yep.
But no, the whole thing's stupid.
It is.
I mean, it's first of all, the people that buy lottery tickets habitually are not going to pay a tax on it. They're not going to pay $1.07.
Yep, and they're going to. I mean, if you win anything, they're going to tax that money. So
right, they tax the winnings,
Yep.
so they already get that. They lottery itself is a tax. Look, if you go to Vegas and you sit down at a $10 blackjack table, it doesn't cost you $10.70. It's $10. They don't tax what you bet. They tax if you win, and they tax the casinos.
I know, but just think what you're saying here. Your income is taxed, and then they potentially want to tax a lottery ticket if you buy it, and if you win anything, they want to tax that again. So your salary is being taxed at 25%, then 7% on a lottery ticket, and then another 25 to 30% on your winnings.
Honestly, a lot of people playing the lottery aren't getting taxed on their income because the income's coming from the state.
That is true.
All right, so we have Seattle High School Shenanigans.
This was great. So Seattle high schooler he was taking a history quiz, and he stated, I don't know why these questions were on the quiz, to be honest, but there was a question that said, only women can get pregnant, and he checked true to that, and that was marked incorrect. And then the next thing he said is there was a question that said all men have penises, and he said true to that, and that was marked incorrect also. And this
the class is Ethnic Studies World History.
Yep, and this was a knowledge quiz.
What in the hell is that?
And this was on a knowledge quiz. So just think about that for a minute. So they had a knowledge quiz where they said, were these two questions on? And the boy answered correct, and then his teacher marked both of them incorrect. What is going on in the world?
First of all, it wasn't a biology class.
No.
So that had no place being on the quiz to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. But even in a biology class, yeah.
I'm sure it would be more egregious in a biology class. But this shows, and just like we were talking about higher education, and just like we're talking about everything else, this is an indoctrination.
Yep, totally.
And if you resist the indoctrination, you're hammered.
Yeah, you're hammered.
Yep. And this could possibly hurt this kid's GPA.
Yeah, it could hurt his chances of getting into college.
He could have a 4.0 and everything else, and this history, ethnic history class, he's going to get two wrong answers. He's going to get a 90 on this quiz because he says that men have penises and women have babies.
Yeah, they said his mom wanted to be asked to stay anonymous so her son doesn't get penalized for speaking out against this. My question would be, how many of the other kids in that class actually marked it the same way he did? Or like you said, have all the kids been indoctrinated and every single one of the other kids probably put the incorrect answer? That would be what I'd love to see, the other answers to this test, to see which kids actually stood up and did the correct thing.
It's such a shame because Seattle is a wonderful city.
I know. Yeah, the West Coast is beautiful. It's just Seattle and Oregon and Portland and San Francisco are just liberal hellholes at this point. Yep.
And look, if you fly into Seattle, there's opportunity to go salmon fishing because you have a salmon run there also. Really, really good Pacific fishing out of Washington. Whether it's halibut or salmon or trout, you've got Rainier out there. It's a beautiful area of the country.
Yep.
And it's just a shame. And Connie and I, I get a companion pass every year, and it has to be used within the contiguous 48.
Right, we got that also. Yep.
And I was looking at places to go, and I'm like, San Fran. I love San Fran, but no, I'm not going. L.A. is short list most beautiful places on earth. You got Palm Springs, you've got Hollywood, a great place to go. Nope, not going.
I know.
It's dangerous, and it's ruined.
Yep.
And same thing with Portland, same thing with Seattle. And it's such a shame. My parents were at SeaTac, Seattle Tacoma Airport, just connecting. They're taking a flight into Canada to get on a cruise.
Yep.
And they're talking about how filthy just the airport was.
Yep.
And it's such a shame because I remember going to Seattle because you and I, our fathers worked for Delta. My father had to go out there to Boeing, and we flew out to visit him and went up Rainier and all that stuff. And Seattle's just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I know.
It's just it's ruined by these liberal policies.
Yep.
It's such a shame because I would love to take Connie out there because it's a. The West is fantastic. Last year we were in Reno and Carson City and Virginia City. It's just absolutely beautiful. That area of the country is, when you talk about the high Sierras and all that stuff, just is gorgeous. But you cross over to California, it just becomes nuts.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Georgia's going to owe how much to the liberal film industry?
Yeah, I think we've talked about this a little bit on the show too. These film tax credits. So Georgia, and everybody knows there's a lot of films that have been, a lot of movie industries moved to Georgia. Well, actually not completely moved, but a lot of movies are being made in Georgia. They have an uncapped tax credit system. So where a lot of states will cap the tax credits to companies at $500 million a year or $1 billion a year, Georgia's is uncapped. So the latest audit estimate says the industry will earn about $1.3 billion worth of credits this fiscal year, which is costing taxpayers around almost $60,000 per job created from the film industry.
And we don't collect that. What's our tax rate now? 5.25?
Yeah, 5.49 at the moment. Yep.
5.49%. Do you know how much a salary has to be to collect $60,000 at 5.5%?
Yep. And see what this is, the background on this is lawmakers are pushing for capping that program, which it needs to be capped. It shouldn't be unlimited. And a lot of people don't understand how the film tax credits work. So if a company spends let's say $3.3 million in Georgia, they can earn a credit of $1 million. So they get $1 million credit on $3.3 million being spent. Well, most of these companies are not based in Georgia. So then what they end up doing is they turn around and they sell that credit to a company like yourself. And then you can buy that $1 million tax credit for $800,000. So the film credit makes off with $800,000, and then you save $200,000 on your taxes. So that's really what's going on in all these tax credits. The companies are not based in Georgia. They're still based in California, but they take these $1 million tax credits and then they turn around and sell it to a business at 80 cents on a dollar. And then they run off with the Georgia cash, and then the company saves money on their taxes. So that's how the program works.
Well, it's a liberal funnel to Georgia.
Yeah. I mean, they're selling all these credits to liberal companies around the state too. I mean, I'm not saying Coke is a liberal company, but the companies that are benefiting on all this are the Cokes, the Turner, the Turner Networks, the CNNs, the Deltas of the world, all the big companies in Georgia out there buying up these $1 billion worth of tax credits to save themselves money. Yeah, and again, I don't understand why the liberals aren't outraged about this. I guess they're in kind of a pickle because they like the film industry and all the craziness that comes with that, but it's taking money out of everyday Georgians' pockets by doing this.
Yeah, and we celebrate reducing our tax rate by a fraction of a percent.
Yeah, we celebrate because we got 10 basis points a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
And these companies are buying these tax credits for, $1.35 billion. And it's really benefiting big business in Georgia.
Outside of it being cool to see places that in the background of films, like Zombieland a lot of it was filmed in Noonan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's tons. Yeah, Noonan's a big film hub.
Yeah, and I guess Stargirl was I've never seen it, but was filmed in Dallas.
Right.
But the people that come in that work these films, I had a friend who overheard them at lunch that they don't like being here. They don't like the people here.
No, right.
They make fun of us. That,
Yep.
We're just a bunch of stupid hicks. The people that do move here for the film industry from California, and there are there are a lot of them. We're not talking about actors. We're talking about the grips, the runners, and people who are within the industry that aren't in front of the they're behind the camera and they're behind the scenes. Set builders and all that stuff. They're bringing their liberal politics with them.
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
So when this state turns blue, it's going to be Republicans' fault for doing this, and making this a conducive area for liberal filmmakers to come and exist.
Yep, it's changed a lot over the last. I mean, we know that last 10 years has been a huge change. But I mean, the program needs to be capped. The Georgia General Assembly should cap the program at a certain amount, and not let this program just expand to. I mean, right now, literally, it could go from $1 billion to $5 billion. Just no cap on this program.
What's funny is when the heartbeat bill passed and a couple other things passed. We're going to pull out. No, you're not.
Like Alyssa Milano was in saying it was going to pull. No, they're all. I mean, it's just all about money at the end of the day, and wherever they're getting these tax breaks, they're going to go.
Yeah, Alyssa Milano. When her movie Embrace the Vampire came out, we showed it in the day room when I was in the Army. Because we all watched her on Who's the Boss, and that movie came out to where she's she's going to show that she's an adult now, and it was standing room only in the day room to watch that one. But we are unintentionally or intentionally changing the political landscape of Georgia by incentivizing liberals to move into the state.
I know.
Even with that, Stacey Abrams got her ass handed to her.
Very true.
That's how bad of a candidate she is.
And will again if she runs.
I can't see it. Of course, she just doesn't live in Georgia anymore. All right, so capitalism's to blame, speaking of. So this is San Francisco. Supervisor Dean Preston argued in a documentary that the reason they have so many homeless is because of capitalism.
I've never heard this angle.
Yeah, the system that has brought more people out of poverty than in the history of the world brought more people out of poverty than any other system.
Yeah, totally.
And that's to blame for the rampant drug use and homelessness in San Francisco.
Yeah, he said this is quote, absolutely the result of capitalism. What happens in capitalism to the people at the bottom rungs of society.
Idiot.
I don't know where he came up with this stuff. I really don't.
Because he's a hardcore leftist communist that I don't know if he believes it. This guy's rich. This guy really? He's rich. Yeah, this guy's wealthy. And he doesn't want to walk away from his wealth.
Mm-mm.
But somehow, if we shifted over to communism and the government ran everything, these people wouldn't be living on the street. No, they'd be dead.
Yes, exactly.
Idiot. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. He's just an idiot.
Yeah, he's a dumbass.
There's only two options on this. He is either a liar or an idiot, and he can pick which one he wants. But he's either a liar or an idiot. Because you just can't, I don't know, you just can't be that stupid. Now, this is a good time to remind you that these are our opinions, not those of anyone not on the show or a respective company for which we may work, own, or otherwise associate ourselves with on a regular or irregular basis. Also, you can find other episodes and relevant stories over the GeorgiaVirtue.com. The mule is mine. Insemination creation. Harvard professor and IVF expert allegedly used his own swimmers to impregnate a patient.
Wow.
This was back in, I think, 1982.
1981, 1982. Yeah, right. So
Sarah Depoyan
yep.
Successfully became pregnant in 1981 after visiting Dr. Merle Berger, her 42-year-old daughter, Carolyn Bester, began researching her own genealogy with Ancestry.com and 23andMe last year and found out that she had a direct result for her biological father, but she found out she had two blood relatives, Berger's granddaughter and second cousin.
So she did 23andMe and found out that she had these relatives of Berger's, and I guess she started looking into it and figured out it was the guy that was doing IVF back in 1981.
Yeah, and he was an expert in the field. I mean, this guy was a professor at Harvard.
Yep.
Again, Harvard keeps coming up with these awful stories. I mean, you talk about taking the polish off that damn institution. So he promised her that he would find a donor that would not be involved in her life, that she did not know, but would resemble her husband physically.
Okay, so her husband was, he couldn't have kids, I guess.
Right, yeah, shooting blanks.
Okay, that's a good way of putting it.
So, but he said, I'll get a donor for you. He will physically resemble your husband. And we're talking about the infancy of IVF.
I was wondering, this is early on in the process, yeah.
I mean, a lot of this was, go back to the 70s, was theoretical. Yep. Like we could do test tube baby, as they were called back then.
Yeah, this was early on. This was really early on.
What is his motivation behind this? I mean,
he's not going to get in trouble for this, though, is he? I mean, I don't even know how old the guy is at this point. 40
older,
years ago,
but
he was probably 40 at the time, right? He was probably at least 40.
Yeah, but he owns several houses. He's very, very, very well off. Yeah, because the crime was only discovered last year.
Is it a crime? What's the crime?
Yes. Fraud.
Yeah, I guess the crime is fraud, right? I mean,
look, they're throwing around words like sexual assault. It's not.
No, it's not sexual assault.
No, they're throwing around a lot of, if nothing else, there's a hell of a civil lawsuit.
Right.
I mean, the trouble with it is, for I say the child, she's 42 now. Without his genetic donation, she wouldn't be her.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a hard thing to really prosecute, I think, because
I do too.
What do you say? I shouldn't be here.
I know. I don't think anything's gonna happen. I would imagine the statute of limitations has run out. Also, I don't know. It
hasn't, because the crime was just discovered.
It still runs out at a certain point, right?
I think the crime discovery.
I thought the statute occurred when the crime occurred, or when the
I don't know.
Started.
There's certain. If they were to file it under a sexual thing, it being recently discovered, but I think there's going to be a civil case here, and he'll settle.
Yeah, it could be. Yep, he will settle. Yep,
he has the money. He'll settle. He'll make her life very easy for the rest of her time on this planet, because she's she and her mom will make enough money that they won't have to worry about it again. All right, so the House and Senate passed the NDAA.
Yeah, so what does NDAA stand for? It's like the National Defense Authorization Act. It's where the military gets funded. Two reasons I brought this story up is, one, it's just they passed it to fund the Defense Department for the next year. So it authorizes $886 billion in national defense spending, which is an increase of $28 billion over last year. So the increase is only 3%, maybe, so not a big increase. It also authorized a 5.2% pay increase for military members, and that's actually the largest raise for service members in more than 2 decades. It's hard to believe, isn't it, that 5.2% would be the largest military increase. But yeah, and then the second part of this bill is it kept going the FISA court, which is, we've talked about this before on the show too, which permits warrantless surveillance of foreign nationals, which has since really just broadened into the military or the government spying on everybody. So that was the two parts of this bill. One, to fund military, and the other to keep this spy program going that they've got on American citizens without warrants.
Yeah, look, keeping tabs on foreign nationals, it never had to be authorized.
Yep, which is fine. We're good with that.
Yeah, the NSA has been doing that for decades. The CIA has been keeping tabs on foreign nationals for forever, since its inception.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping track of foreign nationals, even though we're getting hundreds of thousands a month coming across our southern border.
Yep.
But yeah, we always had the authority to keep track of what foreign nationals are doing.
Yep. And the big deal out of this is that, it allows the government to spy on you without a warrant at this point. So they're collecting all this information from phone calls or emails or whatever, and there's no warrant process for looking at that information or collecting it.
But there never was a warrant for foreign national. It never was necessary.
I'm just talking about American citizens at this point.
Well, exactly.
That's
the point.
All Americans are being scooped up in this at this point.
Yeah, and they're calling it bycatch.
Yep.
Bycatch is a fishing term for, it's not what you were looking for, but, get caught in the net.
Yep. And I thought it was interesting.
Yes.
So we had some Georgia Republicans vote no on this bill. So Andrew Clyde, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Mike Collins voted no. So they're sort of the more conservative Liberty bunch in Georgia at the moment. So congratulations to them for voting no on this.
But you got to understand how it gets framed.
Oh, totally. It gets framed as they voted against raises for
right. For
troops,
members.
Yes,
you voted against giving raises to our troops.
Yes, this should have been two separate bills altogether. This should have been split out.
All of this should be.
Yeah,
there should be no combination bills.
No, this was one of those. So if anybody runs against, I don't think they will. I think Andrew,
no one's running against Margie
and Mike. But that won't be a big point. She can easily in her district say I voted against it because the government's spying on American citizens. But then we've got the other people that voted yes. Buddy Carter, Loudermilk, Drew Ferguson, my rep, and Rich McCormick all voted yes on the bill. So,
this bill was always going to pass.
Yep.
But yeah, if I wanted to run against Margie, I would first of all have to raise $5 million to run against her because she has an unlimited amount of money. But yeah, I would hammer her on this, and it would be completely disingenuous. But it's politics.
Yep. Yeah, I just don't think it goes anywhere. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, but good for them for voting no on it.
No, absolutely.
147 congressional Republicans voted to continue. I forget what their numbers are in Congress, but your typical crowd voted no. The Thomas Masseys of the world, Andrew Clyde, Marjorie, Mike Collins. What's this Chip Roy out in Texas? The Freedom Caucus guys all voted no.
I'm sure our Florida friend voted no also.
I don't know how Matt Gaetz voted. I need to look that up and see. Very interesting.
I don't hate Marjorie Taylor Greene. I hate her caricature, but a lot of the stuff that she stands on is good. She voted no on this.
She's on the right side of most things. She really is.
If she could fix her persona, if she could keep from getting in fist fights and calling another rep a little on the floor, it would go a long way. But that's just Margie. She can't. She thinks that she is Donald Trump in drag.
Yep.
And she doesn't. She doesn't have the gravitas. She doesn't have the. She's not Trump. There is only one Trump who gets away with doing that stuff. And you know what? In 2020, he didn't. It came back to bite him a little bit with the soccer moms. But out in this district, she could sacrifice a virgin on the floor of the House, and people out here would still vote for her. not that you could find a virgin in the House,
or in that district.
Yeah, well, yeah. They're.
I'm joking.
They're screwing so many people in the House. You couldn't find a virgin up there to sacrifice. But Yeah, or in our district. Yeah. You have to find somebody. You have to find a newborn. All right, Kenny, you got any closing thoughts?
I know, just gonna spend the next 4 days in Barcelona, out and about. So I'll let you know how it goes next show. And I think you haven't said this, but I think the next 2 weeks we'll be off, and then you've got something special planned for episode 300, right?
Yeah, that was gonna be my closing thought. Is the next 2 weeks are Christmas and New Year's. So we're not going to drop shows on those days. If you want to, and I absolutely encourage you to, at Christmas dinner, pull out your laptop or your phone and pull up some of our previous shows and play it at Christmas dinner so that all of your family members can be as well educated as our listeners are. I know how much my family appreciates me telling them my political views at Christmas.
Oh, it's awesome, isn't it?
But yes, we are working on something for 300. I don't know exactly what it's going to be yet. We're trying to get the band back together and do something special for 300. When we come back, the legislature will be in session. It will probably be a shorter session because it's election year. Everybody in the Gold Dome wants to get home, and they can't collect money while they're in session. So every day they're in session, they're losing donations. So with off years, you see that 40 days go out to 90. In election years, that 40 days gets closer to 60. They'll get out in, I'm guessing, early March, maybe even February. If
it won't be that early. It'll be still late March.
You think it'll be late March?
Yeah, it's still
because qualifying is in March.
Yeah, it'll still be late March.
Anybody running against an incumbent can raise money all through that time, but incumbents can't. They have to shut down their antidote. The site that most political candidates use to collect, because it's already set up for collecting the information that's necessary when you make a donation, who you are, what you do for a living, and all that stuff. I have always said retired, or I've said retired and independently wealthy. I lie on those forums all the time because, screw them. What do you do for a living? None of your business.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing. You know what? Next time, I have to make a couple donations. I think I'm going to put drug dealer on there.
That would be awesome.
I don't understand what they're doing with that information. I mean, I pimp, drug dealer. I mean, something like that are put in there. Hunter Biden's financial advisor.
Yeah, I don't think it matters.
No, it doesn't matter. It's stupid to even collect the information. So we will be back in the new year. The two holidays happen to fall right when we drop the show. Plus, everybody's on vacation. Ken doesn't want to talk to me over Christmas, I guarantee you. But thanks to everybody for listening. Big thanks to Eric for editing our awful audio and turning it into something you can listen to. Big thanks to Ken for calling in from Spain on vacation with his boy. Right now he's already eyeing the next beer he's going to open. I'm Dave Roberts, and we'll talk to you in 2024.